Hello everyone, my name is Celeste Ambrose and I'm a yoga instructor here at the Women's Club in Missoula, Montana, and I just want to do about a 30-minute grounding yoga practice for you to hopefully enjoy in this time of uncertainty and this time of social distancing. I prefer to think of it as physical distancing because I think that we are all trying to maintain our connection with each other, with humanity. And so we'll begin with just a little bit of breath work. So finding a comfortable seated position, and whatever that means for you, legs folded in, legs out. Maybe you'd prefer to be sitting up in a chair. So lengthening your spine up and letting those shoulders relax down and back. And then just closing your eyes, softening them, and taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and exhaling out through your mouth. We'll do two more just like that. And then letting your breath move in and out through your nose. And just think about breathing down deep into your belly, softening your belly. Inhaling all the way up towards your collarbones, and then exhaling from the top of your lungs all the way back down into your belly. We'll take about 5 to 8 nice deep breaths like that. Inhaling into the belly, lifting through the ribs, lifting the sternum, and exhaling from the sternum down under the ribs and back into the belly. Bringing the palms together at heart center, setting an intention of health and peace and calm for all beings everywhere. We'll just bring our fingertips out to the floor beside you, turning the palms up, a nice deep breath in, reaching up, looking up, turning the palms back and exhaling. And we'll do two more. And taking the arms up again. And exhaling, turning to your right. Keeping that spine nice and tall. Keeping that breath flowing. And inhale, back to center. And exhale to your left. And inhaling back to the center, palms down the center line, and just folding forward, letting the spine round any amount, letting the head relax down. And as we walk the hands back in, pulling the belly in, coming back upright, and we'll go ahead and move onto hands and knees. And then we'll move through a few cat-cows just to warm up the spine a little bit. So stacking your hands right underneath your shoulders, wrists under shoulders. Spread those fingers out, evenly distribute your weight, and then place your knees a little bit behind your hips and about hip distance apart. And we'll exhale, pull the belly up, drop the head and tuck the tailbone. And inhale, lift the tailbone and lift the head. Think about lengthening the spine. And exhaling, rounding. And inhaling to lift and lengthen. And we'll do several more. Working these at your own pace, matching your movement with your breath. And taking a pause, taking your knees out to the edge of your mat, letting the hips settle down and back, coming into a resting child's pose. So you could bring your hands and stack your hands and rest your forehead down like this. Or if your head easily reaches the floor, you could bring your forehead to the floor and bring your hands down alongside your feet. Child's pose is a great way to get grounded in yourself, in your breath. Draw your attention inside to yourself. Leave the rest of the world behind. And just another breath or two there. And then stretching the arms up over your head, coming back up to tabletop. And we'll move into downward facing dog. So curling the toes under, lifting up, drawing the tops of your thighs back. Stepping your feet apart, hip distance. And then working your feet back and forth, pedaling it out. And then releasing back down into a child's pose. And coming back up to downward facing dog. And we'll take a three-legged dog. So bringing one leg up behind you and then lifting it way high in the sky, rolling it open, stacking the hips, and then come back. Sorry, my hands are slipping on my mat here. So I'm just going to bring a blanket. There we go. Second side. So leg goes up, level with the hips, and then up as high as it'll go. Rolling the hips open, stacking the hips. And coming back down. And then we'll go ahead and walk the feet up towards the hands, or you could walk your hands back towards your feet. Point your toes forward, bend those knees, lift the head, and come all the way up with a flat back, reaching up and reaching back, and releasing the hands back down. So if you have some blocks, you could use some blocks, or you could grab a couple of books of about the same height. Let's see. So we're going to start with Warrior One. So stepping your right leg back, squaring your hips forward. Inhale, take the arms up. And exhaling, bringing the palms together and down the center line. We're going to fold forward into pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. So seeing if you can bring your hips to be even and level with each other. And then if you want to take it into a deeper forward bend, allowing the crown of the head to float towards the floor. Might lower the blocks down. Maybe you don't need the blocks. And then beginning to come out, we'll bend that front knee, lift the head, pull the belly in, bring the hands to the heart, press down firmly with that front leg. And then as you come up, straighten the front leg and lift the heart. And step up, and then step back with your left leg. And inhale, take the arms up. And then we're going to take that pyramid pose once again, bringing the hands down the center line, folding forward. We'll turn to the side again. So we want to see if we can draw that hip up into its socket, straightening that front leg, staying strong through your belly, and then rounding down if you want to. And then coming out, bending that front knee, hands come to the heart, press into the front leg, hands come to the waist, and we lift the heart at the top. And then stepping up, and just setting the blocks aside. And now, Vriksasana, tree pose. So picking which leg is your favorite one to stand on first. Doesn't matter what you choose, we're going to do both sides. So you might run your heel up your opposite ankle, or you might bring that foot off the floor. And as you catch your balance, bring your hands to your heart, and then expressing your branches. And remember, you can always keep your hands at your heart. You can take the arms out wide, like a tightrope walker. Or you could bring the hands together above your head. So releasing with as much control as you can. Pick up your knees once or twice. Take a nice breath in and out. And then second side. Oops. Well, some days are better than other days with our balance, as anyone who practices yoga can tell you. So trying to maintain control, releasing the pose, pick the knees up and down a couple times. And then we'll bring our blanket to sit on. And scooting up to the front edge of your blanket, bringing the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. So you want to scoot up to the front edge of that blanket so that your sits bones come just to the front edge, helping your pelvic bowl tip forward, bringing your spine up nice and tall. If your low back tends to round here, bringing your hands behind you and helping to lift and lengthen the spine. So really engaging all of the muscles that you can feel from your belly button down, the muscles of the pelvic floor, the low belly. Trying to keep that spine nice and tall. Nice deep breaths. And releasing the pose very gently, moving the knees up and down a few times, and then rocking your whole body from side to side a few times. And coming back to center, we'll help the knees come out and take the legs out wide. Re-establishing yourself with your blanket if you need to. And then Upavista Konasana, just folding, leaning forward. And remember now we want to keep the back flat, the head in line with the spine. So we're not coming here. We're keeping the shoulders back and just leaning forward any amount. If you don't have a lot of flexibility in the hips like I don't, you might not come very far forward. So sometimes I joke and say this is a forward lean instead of a forward fold. But if you're getting a stretching sensation through the backs of your legs, toes pointed up at the sky, strong through your belly, then you're doing the pose just right. Remembering your breath. Good. And walking the hands back up, and then walking the hands over to your right leg. And again, nice and tall with your spine. And looking to your right to start with. And then we'll very gently turn the head and look over your left shoulder. And remember, we never want pain, so always stopping short of any pain. Turning your head back again to your right. And then we'll sweep the arms up, lengthen up, and exhaling, coming down to your left. And then again, very gently and mindfully, turning your head to look over your right shoulder. And then back again to the left, and the arms come up and down the center line, and folding forward or leaning forward once again. And coming back up. And help the legs come in. And then stay lengthwise on your mat. And I'm just going to lay back, bend my knees. Now you might want to watch for a moment because you don't want to have your head turned in bridge pose. So I'm going to stack my feet right underneath my knees, rock my shoulders down, and then on an exhale, oh, sorry, I wanted to grab a block here too. So on an exhale, I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm going to rock side to side a little bit. Lift those hips up, work the pose. Strong in the back, strong in the backs of the legs. And then I'm going to bring that block, and again, it could be a book or a couple of books stacked together. And then I'm just going to bring my legs one at a time up into the sky. And then let the legs fall open, a couple of breaths, and then back together. One leg a little closer to my face, the other one closer to the floor. And switch them up. And then back together, bending my knees, bringing one foot down to the floor at a time, and then opening up the whole front of the body, extending my legs out onto the floor. And then bending the knees one at a time. Lift the hips. Slide the block or the book or books out. Let the hips release back down to the floor. Take my arms out to a T. Release my knees over to one side. And turn my head gently in the opposite direction. And you could deepen this twist if you wanted to by taking that top leg, extending it out. And feel free to stay in your twist as long as you like. I'm going to go ahead and transition to the second side. So I'm just going to let the knees fall over and then take the top leg out. Deepening that twist. Good for the immune system. And then coming back, and I'm already here for Shavasana. So if you want to make yourself more comfortable, you might take a blanket, or if you have a bolster at home, place it under your knees. You could place something under your head. And here is where I'll leave you. And so taking a nice long Shavasana for yourself, take as much time for it as you can. You might even get up and go lay down on your bed. And if you should happen to fall asleep and you don't have a lot of kids jumping around or whatever might be going on in your home right now, try to take a few minutes to just lay quietly and breathe. And as you come out, remembering our intention of healthy, calm, strength, peace, hope, courage, and love and light to all beings everywhere. Namaste.